Hey guys, Jody here with Century 21.
Hi, Scotty Levitt, Integrity Mortgage.
We are doing our first podcast on first time home buying and just some things that you'll come across, the language that you'll hear, and kind of how a real estate agent and a lender can help you with this process of buying your first home, which is usually the largest investment of anyone's life.
100%.
So
Yeah.
Scotty and I fully believe in working as a team and just making it as easy as possible for you to basically get into your dream home.
Yeah. And I mean, luckily we've got a past client who's willing to come on the video tonight with us and talk about her experience and be brutally honest. And that's what we told her beforehand, said good, the bad, everything, because we want all of our clients to understand what they're signing up for and understand truly the fun part of buying a house, but also sometimes it is stressful. But again, that's why we're here to help our clients through those stressful times and make sure that they understand they're not going it alone.
Correct.
They do have a team built around them.
And I would say at the end of the day, Scotty and I end up taking on a lot of that stress because it does make it better for you guys. It doesn't always make us the happiest, but that's our job, is
Right.
to take on that stress for you so that all you have to do is just keep moving forward to closing. So.
Yeah, because we do realize that not only do you have your full-time job, plus also the plans of getting moving trucks, getting utilities turned on. So we know that that's all going on behind the scenes, in addition to all the negotiations back and forth on inspections, appraisals, all of that's happening on our side. So we try to take some of that burden off of your shoulders so that you can still focus on your job and focus on the exciting parts of getting your new house, getting your new furniture, getting set up and starting a new life in a different location.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to go through some, and these aren't all the topics. I don't want to make it sound like this is everything that you need to know, but these are just some things to get the wheels in motion on things. If you haven't bought a house before, questions you should be asking or at least thinking about before you go out and start shopping for that first home. So I know something that I do see a lot of the times where they'll ask an agent this, Jody, is how long has a house been on the market and what does that actually mean to me as a buyer if it's been on there for a while, or what if it's only been on there for a day? What all does that mean to me from an agent's perspective?
Yeah, so looks like we have another participant. Welcome, Dana. Thanks for joining us. So Scotty just asked me a question.
So my question, and I've heard clients ask this to an agent, is like, how long has the house been on the market? If it's been on the market for a while, what does that mean to me? But also, what does it mean to me if the house just went on the market as being a first-time buyer? Because that can also be a question that you need to understand what that means from when you're going to put an offer in.
Absolutely. So in today's real estate market, and you'll hear this a lot, the inventory is very, very low. Mm-hmm. So a home could be on the market for 24 hours with multiple offers, or it could be on the market for 30 to 45 days. I think the average right now is about 45 days, mm-hmm. maybe a little bit less in Texas. But when you're shopping for a home, if a home goes on the market and it's within the range of like 2 to 350,000, maybe 2 to 330, those homes are probably going to go very quickly, and they're probably going to go for or above asking price right now in today's market. Mm-hmm. If you're in a little higher home price, you have a little bit of flexibility on when you can put in your offer. But right now, if you find a home that you do like, it's kind of like get that offer in as soon as you can, because while you're waiting and thinking it over, somebody else is going to slip in an offer. So that's just how the market is right now. But if you did find a home that had been on the market for 45 plus days, that gives you a little negotiation room of offering a lower asking price and hoping to get it accepted. So
correct.
Let's see. From the lender side, Scotty, what type of loan is best for a first-time home buyer?
So something that I do get this asked quite often is why I hear all these different programs out there. I hear about FHA, I hear about conventional. If you're a veteran, I hear about VA. And yes, there are many programs within all those categories, but what I try to inform my clients is the first and foremost is I want to figure out what your goals are as a client. And then I want to then get your profile in front of me so that then when I start talking about specific loan programs, I'm not just talking about 5 or 6 things that you might or might not qualify for. I want to be able to get your profile then when I can give you 3 or 4 options that are specifically tailored to you, because then ultimately then you can make the best financial decision for yourself. Because if all of a sudden I start telling you about every program that's out there, you're either going to start getting glazed over because it's going to start seeming overwhelming to you, or it's going to sound like, well, great, I want that program that Scotty just told me about. And then, of course, once I run credit or look at debt to income or loan to value on the house, all of a sudden that program may no longer be available. And the last thing I want to do is feel like I'm taking things away from you. I want to feel like I'm adding value to you from a standpoint of, here's 4 options for you. I think option 1 would be the best, but it's your decision on what you want to do on this particular house. And so there are multiple programs that are out there. Like I stated, there is a conventional loan program. There is an FHA loan program. There is a 0% down program through the VA. There is a 0% down program through the USDA. And then there also is what is called a jumbo loan program. And those are things that we're not going to necessarily dig into the weeds of those today, but those are programs that you need to be asking your loan officer going, tell me about this. Tell me why I should go FHA, because I hear this far too often where loan officers are trying to push a client into a program that's not necessarily the best for them. And unfortunately, that might be the best for the loan officer, but it's not what's best for the client. So make sure you're asking why. Why is this the best programs for me whenever you're talking to your loan officer? Another question I've heard, whenever we're doing our conference call with clients is, well, why is the homeowner selling? Because that could be a good indication on why they're on the market and what's going on. So, I mean, what do you tell your clients?
Well, so you can't disclose anything that the people that are selling haven't given permission. Mm-hmm. But what I would say is when you're buying your first home, and Amy did just buy her first home, and I'm sure I told her this, but most people live in a home for about 7 years before they need to move either into a bigger home or relocate, or they want a swimming pool. So that gives you a time frame. So when you are buying your first house, don't think that this is the end all be all and I'm going to live at 305, I won't say the rest because it's your home, for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And that is good and comforting, knowing that that is how real estate historically revolves. And as far as why somebody is moving, again, that's not really important. What I would suggest is to research the demographics of the neighborhood, the school district ratings, the crime rating, things like that. And that will give you a good idea of, do you see yourself in that neighborhood or do you not? Some people really want to be in the 75032 zip code to go to Heath High School. And then some people don't want anything to do with Heath. So you basically got to sit down and plan out, like, where do I see myself living? Do I want a large lot? Things like that. And just kind of jot down notes so that when you do meet with your agent, we can go over all the expectations that you have in a home. And that helps us find you a perfect match, essentially.
Well, and something you had said about people don't stay in their house for longer than 7 years. Something else I wanted to talk to people about also is buying a house. Yes, that is a place to lay your head at night, and that is a place that you get to call home. That's where you get to make a bunch of fun times with friends, family, whoever's coming over and spending that with you. But I also try to remind everybody, this is also an investment. It's not like it's renting a place. This is something that you're putting your money into. So when you go and repaint those walls or you change something out, you're not just doing it and you're losing that money. You're actually investing into yourself. So I try to remind people, this is like a 401k retirement, because on a typical market, a house is going to continue to appreciate in value. And with everything that's going on, you see it on the news all the time. You see people relocating from the New Yorks, the Californias to Texas. And it's because we've got great opportunity, because our properties are a lot less or a lot cheaper than where they are in those markets. And so people are wanting to relocate here, but also there's tons of job growth. So as jobs continue to come here, that keeps driving up demand, which keeps driving up house values. So you've also got to keep that in mind, that this is also something that even if you only stay for 2 years, your house is going to appreciate value and you're going to get that equity back out of it when you go to sell. So and I think that kind of transitions into a good thing about the renting versus owning, because I know that you do have those kind of conversations.
Yeah. And the first thing that I think when somebody says like, it would actually be cheaper for me to rent is, hey, let me put you in touch with Scotty, because I want you to see that you can actually get into a home for less than you can rent right now. And what Scotty said about building equity, whether you look at it as 401k, retirement, there is almost nothing bad right now about owning a home. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree. I mean, there's sometimes things can go wrong inside of a house, but I mean, ultimately the long-term thing is if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest. That's what you're doing versus owning a house. Right now, interest rates are extremely low. And so of course, just think about it. Would you rather pay 100% or pay a small little piece of interest right now and put something that's putting principal or equity back into you?
Yeah. So every time you write that mortgage payment, and Amy, you're going to start doing it in a month, you're basically putting that money back into your own life. Yeah. I mean, instead of just giving it to your landlord and saying, you know, have fun, thanks for mowing the grass. But I mean, there's hardly anything wrong with owning a home in this day. Yeah. Now, and we won't talk about this evening, but one thing to discuss and one thing that Scotty can help with is if your credit is less than stellar or less than enough to be approved for a loan, Scotty can give you ideas to increase your credit score. Your credit score. Your credit. Bugs Bunny. Your credit score quickly, so that while you're saving up for the down payment on your house, which brings me to our next question, you're building up your credit so you can get a better interest rate.
Right.
And so, what question did that bring me to?
I was looking here. I was about to ask.
Okay, well, we'll just go on to the next lender question here. So when you get an interest rate, and Scotty may run a pre-approval for you, and he'll say you're pre-approved for 2.6 interest rate. And then at what point in the process do you lock in that rate for the clients?
So I do get that a lot. People think that an interest rate follows them specifically. But unfortunately, an interest rate is only tied to a specific address. So if you go under contract on 123 Main Street, as soon as you go under contract, that's when I am able to lock in your interest rate. But I do get calls where I'll pre-approve somebody. I tell them that they're ready to go, and they're like, great, let's lock in this rate. And unfortunately, that's not how this works. So even if you get your rate locked in today and you go under contract, and then for whatever reason during the inspection, you find something that tells you, hey, I'm not going to move forward, I'm going to find a different house. And now you find house on a different street. Unfortunately, that interest rate that was locked to that house gets canceled out, and then we lock you back in at the new rate. Now, rates are all driven off of market, so they could change hourly if they wanted to. Right now, with the market the way it is, we're not seeing that, but the market can change in a matter of minutes, and so I tell clients, if you're thinking about doing something on a property, this is the time to do it, because right now the market is not shifting. The rates are extremely low, but a client does need to understand that just because you get pre-approved does not mean that now all of a sudden that rate that we're talking about from a payment is ready to go. And that's a given, and it's etched in stone now till you buy a house. So then I think that, I think that really covered up any of the what other questions do you see? I don't have anything else on my list right now.
What I wanted to and kind of bring on Amy here. So Amy reached out to me originally looking for a condo, And this is kind of a side note, but condos are popular right now. So the first thing I did was call Scotty and discuss loans for condominiums, which right now, because of COVID and just 2020 being 2020, you can't get a condo loan unless you can put more than 20% down or 20% down. Well, in Amy's situation, she could have, but that would have been all her savings.
Yeah.
And so, we looked at condos, we put offers in on condos, we looked at some dumps, and even looked at a house next to a cemetery, but we ended up getting Amy a gorgeous house in Rockwall in the Heath High School school district. And it's just funny how our basically story evolved. And so Amy, if you don't mind sharing with us just your experience, any problems that you had, where you started looking for homes, and also what made you want to buy your first home.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I eventually want to, I've been wanting to invest in real estate property. And so that's what started me interested in real estate or looking. And so I searched online. I looked up, different homes in the area, a little outside of the area of where I live now or lived, and just all around the Dallas Metroplex. And then I found Jody, and she helped me through the process. Scotty helped me through the process, helped me find a great loan. And like he said, the interest rate did change because I wasn't in the contract yet. And so started at a certain, but it was still low. It's still very low, thank goodness. But thank goodness. But so anyway, and he helped me get the VA loan, 0 down, which was great. That was another great thing. So Jody actually showed me the house before it even went on the market. And I was so grateful because that was the only one out of all that that we looked at. That was the one that just really spoke to me. I was like, this is it. I want this place, and I'm sure Jody remembers me every time we went somewhere. I'm like, I really like that Rockwall house. I really like that Rockwall house. No, I really like that Rockwall house. So I was set on that house. And with all of Jody and Scotty's help, I was able to get it. The thing that I didn't like, honestly, is all the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, and I was about to ask you, Amy, be honest on that part, because I know from a lending perspective, that's my least favorite part of my job is the amount of paperwork that we have to go and get, and I know that, like I said earlier, I tried to take as much as we can off of your plate, but unfortunately, no matter what you have going on during work, like, Amy, I need X, Y, and Z documents, so talk a little bit about that process, as far as like getting documents. And then, because even though you feel like you gave all the documents, then there's always going to be another set of documents that ends up getting asked for, whether it's my processor or my underwriter. I understand that happens.
Right. And I knew even before going in that there was going to be quite a bit of paperwork. So it wasn't like I was set off, guard or anything by any means. But it was a lot easier than I had expected because it was a lot of the paperwork was sent to me by email, and I could go through it and then electronically sign. So that part was great and very convenient for me because teaching and running around quite a bit, it's like that I was able to do it on my phone at times, if I had an appointment or if I was, just accept, sign. So that part I was really happy about. So it was, like I said, overall, I had a wonderful experience, and you both took such good care of me, and y'all are always available, day or night, always available. And so
Amy, when in this kind of, maybe we could talk about closing costs.
Yeah.
When Scotty sent you like 3 days before the, what's it called?
So it's the final closing disclosures, or I'll refer to it as a CD, and everybody thinks compact disc, and they're like, "What are we talking about here?"
Is it a loan estimate now?
So a loan estimate is what we disclose at the very beginning, because it truly is what it sounds like, just an estimate.
Okay.
But the final closing disclosure, that is what we are confirming is your cash to close. Now, interest rate, once we've locked in your rate can't change. As far as our lender fees, that can't change. We're legally not allowed to change those. But that final closing disclosure accounts for now the title company's gone and pulled taxes. We've gotten your actual final insurance policy on that house. And that final closing disclosure told Amy exactly, okay, hey, you can get a wire or a cashier's check for this amount. This is what you're going to expect for your monthly payment once you've closed on the house. And that cemented all of that at that time, saying this is what it's going to be when we go to the day of closing.
Mm-hmm.
What was great about that?
3 days before closing, or we have to postpone closing. So you're always going to have that 3-day window to review those documents. And it's basically giving you a last chance. Is there anything you see wrong? You know what I mean? So, and I know we did that. I remember talking about it the night before it was due with Amy.
Yep.
Because we thought we were going to have to move it. And another thing, so Amy actually is a veteran. Thank you for your services.
Yep.
And she was able to buy her first home with a VA loan. And the lady that sold it also is a veteran. And she's actually active veteran. So that was kind of cool for me and Amy and the seller. So, so Amy, you didn't have to put any money down. Now, Amy was prepared to put anywhere from 3 to 5%. What do most people put down on their first home in your experience?
So, I mean, I do see a range of everything, but I would tell you the standard that I see does range from that 3% first time buyer conventional loan to 5%. And there's another, 3.5% down program as well. But you're seeing people put 3 to 5% down, unless they're utilizing their VA or getting into the USDA 0% down programs. Now, just because it says 0%, that does not mean that you're walking to the table with no money in hand. And Amy can talk about that, because you still have closing costs and your escrow account, which is basically what I call it, your savings account for paying your property taxes and insurance. But that's part of that 3-day disclosure that we went over. And Amy, I want to talk about kind of our communication about that, so that you felt comfortable about those numbers leading up to the day of closing.
Absolutely. And actually what was great is that it was a nice surprise at the end, because it was even lower than what, Scotty originally said, what his estimated, costs. And so whenever I was so excited, I was like, yay, more money in my pocket. So, so I don't have to spend, but, I was a little nervous because there were some things, and I guess maybe at times I wasn't paying attention to some of what was going to be owed, but I was like, wait, what is this fee, Scotty? What is this fee? And then I'll be, oh, okay. And so, but like I said, in the end, it all worked out, and it was, and again, most of that money, it's going into my account, so I'm not losing very much.
Yeah, and then some of the other expenses that you had, Amy, well, the first one was your inspection. And we went with a company that gives a discount for VA. So they inspected the home, and then they send you the inspection report. And of course, I immediately got a call from Amy that she wanted to back out of the deal. So I talked her off the ledge and explained houses in Texas have cracks in the foundation. That doesn't mean you have foundation issues.
Right.
That means you have a home in Texas.
Yeah.
But Amy and I went through the whole inspection. And a part of the process when you're first buying is you're going to negotiate with the seller. And our seller, luckily and thankfully, was willing to repair everything that we requested. That doesn't always happen, but you can always ask. your agent will be able to tell you what can I ask for and what shouldn't I push their buttons with. Do you know what I mean? So, Amy, was there anything that we bypassed? Oh, okay, there was a GFCI plug that was needed in the bathroom. We decided that wasn't important. You know, so, but we did ask for larger things. We asked for a full HVAC inspection. We asked for some foundation work on the sides, like some more cement added and some dirt for the termite inspection. So, and the inspection, I think, was it about $400? Do you remember?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
400, 450 for the inspection. So that was Amy's second expense, actually, because her first was the option money and earnest money. And so when Amy and I's contract was accepted, I met her somewhere and she gave me a check for an option period, which gave her 7 days to have the home inspection for $100 and with the full capability of walking away with just losing $100. Then I also collected her earnest money, which goes towards crediting towards her house. So you write an earnest money, it's typically 1% of the home. And the title company will hold that check for you until closing. And at closing, they will cash that check and it will go towards your mortgage payments.
Yeah, so it goes against that closing cost that I was talking about for your escrow account and your closing costs. That offsets against those. Or if you're not utilizing a 0% down program, that would just go against your down payment. So if you're putting 3% down on the house, that 1% would be applied towards that 3% that you were putting down.
So then it's like you're putting down 4%.
Well, so no, so it'd be the reverse. So then you're really only having to write a check for 2%.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, you know, and then as far as the earnest money and option piece that you were talking about, the option money truly does give you the ability as a client. If you woke up one day and the wind was just blowing the wrong direction, or you woke up out of the bed on the wrong side, you could say, I'm walking away from this house, and you get all your earnest money back during that option period phase.
And let me tell you, there was a few times I thought Amy was going to do that. A few times. But I kept reminding her that this was a really good house. But it's very scary when you're buying your first house. Like I said, it is the largest investment you will probably make. And honestly, it's scary. I remember when I bought my first home, although I didn't know anything, and I really wasn't scared. That was a problem. And then the market tanked and I, you know, so.
And then you were scared.
Then I was scared. And I'm still renting that home out. But, yeah, so.
And then the only other thing that comes up before the actual closing day is the appraisal. And I think I remember getting a call or a text from Amy. I told her that we had to get her credit card and we would charge it prior to. And then I think I got a call. I might be making this story up, so you can call me out if I am. But you did call me going, Scotty, why did I just get charged this $500 for this appraisal? What happened? So, but that is credited towards you at the time of closing.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when I do my original loan disclosures, I show it as being paid again at the time of closing, but then you get the offsetting credit. So it reduces your cash to close in addition to the title fees, because we're not a title company, so we're never going to try to guess to the bottom dollar what it is. I'm always going to overstate it, because I would rather have your expectation of this is worst case scenario, and then when it comes in lower, you're okay with it. Because if all of a sudden this is worst case and this is all you're willing to write a check for, and then all of a sudden it goes up, then the whole deal starts feeling, no matter how great of a job I've done, everything seems crappy at that point from a client's perspective. And the last thing I want to do is have that happen.
Yeah, so, you know, one thing that I get asked, or maybe is thought in people's heads because maybe they knew a bad real estate agent or a bad lender, you know, why should you use an agent? And I guess, Amy, do you want to tell us why it was beneficial for you to have myself and Scotty on your side?
I cannot even imagine trying to purchase a home alone without y'all. without having y'all by my side. I mean, both of you were so thorough and took me through the whole entire process. I could not see myself not having you two, to help me with every step of the way. So,
and I mean, that speaks volumes to Scotty and I.
Mm-hmm.
See, I am very bad on the lending aspects of loans, and I leave that to Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very brilliant when it comes to loans. And, the thing that both of us want to do, I want to get you into a house for the least amount of money possible. Mm-hmm. Scotty want to get you the loan for the least amount of money as possible. Mm-hmm. We aren't trying to become millionaires by selling homes.
No.
We really want to give the best customer service, the best information, education that we can, because again, I really take pride in, helping somebody with the largest investment of their life. It's similar to being like a labor and delivery nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the end product is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I got off to the labor and delivery, but you know what I mean? So, I mean, and the thing that's nice when you have a relationship with your agent and your lender, and you can call them anytime. And, Scotty does loans for me personally, mm-hmm. and I call him all the time. What does this mean? Why, when is my appraisal going to hit my credit card? I ask the same thing,
yeah.
Amy.
Yeah.
So, it just helps to have that kind of relationship with the people that you're working with, so that you trust what they're saying and that they're going to give you truthful, honest, loyal information, because that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I do try to tell people, talk to me like you're part of my family, always be honest with me. Don't sugarcoat stuff, because the last thing that can happen is you don't ask the question that's in your head, or you don't bring up a topic that's bothering you. And then all of a sudden, as work starts getting more stressful, the house process starts getting a little bit more stressful, then all of a sudden all that stuff starts compounding and starts making it feel like there's a mountain on top of your shoulders. Always be honest with both of us. I mean, we'll get on calls at 9:00 at night if that's what it takes, to make sure that the client's able to go to sleep at night, not stressing anymore. And I truly mean, I want my clients by the end of it, whether they want to hang out with me or talk to me again, that's beside the point, but I want them to feel like they're part of my family,
I mean, so the night before, you're supposed to send out Amy's CD,
mm-hmm.
and I was on the phone with you at like 9:00 at night. And I mean, Scotty stressed over your loan, Amy.
I did.
Really stressed, like lost sleep. He doesn't sleep that much anymore. Well, he goes to bed really early, but he gets up really early.
I do.
He lost sleep over your loan. And I mean, he got it done, and I lost sleep over your inspection report, but we got it done. So, that it's really a teamwork task, is to take on this process together. And you know what, Amy, we will probably be lifelong friends, and her and Scotty will too. I mean, you develop that kind of relationship with your buyers and your sellers, because honestly, I don't know, you just want to do right by them, and then you realize, hey, they're really good people.
Yeah.
They're my kind of people, so.
Well, when they're trusting you with their biggest financial decision, you feel like you've got to become part of the family, because ultimately I'm asking my clients, and this sounds bad, but it's true, I'm asking you to show me everything from a financial perspective, which sometimes can be overwhelming to clients, because it's like, hey, I need this document, I need this document, I need this document. But I want my clients to feel so comfortable working with me that even whenever I'm asking them for stuff, they don't feel overwhelmed, because they know they can be calling me at 9:00 or calling me at 7:00 when they've got that thought of,
yeah, Scotty gets up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does, but I just thought of something and it left my head. So,
we want to.
Dana, can you unmute and just let us know where you're from? We're so happy you're on here.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite, Amy. I'm from New York.
You're Amy's friend from New York. Cool.
And a veteran as well.
I'm trying to get the hell out of New York. And I have an 11-year-old, so I'm definitely been entertaining buying my first home. But I'm also in the midst of obtaining, right now I'm getting my BSW, but if I continue with my MSW, get licensed here, it can be reciprocated in another state.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I might as well get what I can now here. We have NACA, which I'm considering working with in regards to preparing me financially, doing kind of the same things you guys, but it's a nonprofit, and basically they go after bankers who do predatory lending.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
So it's a nonprofit organization, and it really does try to help like marginalized people getting to their first home.
Awesome.
So I'm just basically just trying. I have mad family in Texas. I have my brothers and sisters in arms. I have like 3 or 4 people that I served with in Texas. But I'm kind of thinking moving towards Tennessee because I don't like bugs or snakes that can kill you.
Those murder hornets.
Murder hornets. Yeah, I'm waiting for that one too. I think the next bingo card is going to be aliens landing. But so yeah, I'm interested. It's really nice to hear you guys talk. It's really nice to understand anywhere between 3 to 5% inspection, appraisal, closing disclosure, financial disclosures, having all that together. So thank you for having me here and allowing me to sit in.
Of course.
Well, thank you for jumping on.
Are you are a veteran also?
Yes.
So you'd be available to do a VA loan potentially with 0% down, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So save that money. Keep it in your pocket.
I got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, Amy, anything else you would like to share?
I just want to thank you both again for everything that you've done, because there's no way I could have done this without y'all. No way. And like I said earlier, and ooh, that's fun. Bling, email. So that's about it. Like you were saying about the scare, I was very, very scared at the beginning. And like Jody said, I did try to back out a few times, and she did. And I'm so happy that she talked me out of it, and she walked me through it, and where I could understand better, and what I was, going to be investing in, and so I was during closing, I was so excited, signing all those papers, all that paperwork.
you had hand cramps by the end.
I did. And for a couple of days, I was like, oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
Well, anyways, we want to thank you both.
Yeah, thank y'all and Amy, thank you for being willing to do this. I know that this is asking a lot of you to come on here and talk about your experiences, but it does help for people that are not ready to buy just yet to be able to hear these kind of testimonials about the experience, and not about us, but just about your experiences, because I want people to be able to see real life people and not just hear us talking about it. So thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
And we will reconvene in another month with another seminar. So.
Yep. Well, thank y'all again.
Bye.